Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, a lot of our characters got some new gear. Everyone except for Jarvis and Nell, but Jarvis got a whole bunch at the beginning of this dungeon. Nell, not so much, so she's kind of feeling a little down. So we're going to make her feel a little bit better by getting her best katana in the game, the Masamune. So, it has a history in Final Fantasy of basically being the best sword in the game, so it's going to be the best ninja sword here for Nell. So, we're going to, right down there, it's guarded by a tough, unique monster again. That can actually be kind of tricky if you don't know how to do it, but luckily I'm here to give you some strategies. So, we're also in the point, the lunar core now. The enemies here are going to be behemoths, red dragons, and this new enemy they haven't met yet, the evil mask. They all have pretty good drops. The evil mask, unfortunately, its best drop is bugged. It's the glass helmet. It's supposed to give you 99% evasion, but it doesn't. So once again, something's coded wrong in a Final Fantasy game. Yeah, for the first two levels, those are the type of monsters you can come in contact here, and then once you get to the third level, you start running into those same monsters, but in larger groups, so you can run into 3 red dragons, a red dragon and a behemoth, 2 behemoths, or 2 evil masks together. So, but we'll talk about them when we get to them. Let's talk now about Ogopogo, which is a cryptid like the Loch Ness monster, but it's apparently in British Columbia, so it's in Canada. Like Leviathan, whose sprite it shares, Ogopogo is weak against lightning, but you don't want to hit it with any lightning spells, because if you hit it with a lightning spell, it counters with the weak spell. And basically, getting hit with the weak spell and Ogopogo using the big wave attack, pretty much means whoever gets hit by that weak spell is going to be knocked out. So, instead we're just going to use melee attacks. Georgie will summon Bahamut, and Nell can do a little bit of extra damage, equipping the Lightning Claw. So, Lily will be mainly just working on doing her healing. So this guy can be actually pretty tough, especially if you hit him with magic. Yeah, you'll do a lot of damage to him, but he will, wipe your characters out with that weak spell. Just slowly pound down on him. Like I said, as long as we stay healed up with the Cure 4 after the big waves, he will be finished off. And then Nell will get the Masamune sword. And once she gets the Masamune sword, we can start pulling her up into the front row. She'll dual wield the Masamune and the Mirasame. And whenever we want to exploit an elemental weakness, we'll just switch off the Mirasame claw with a certain claw. So here we don't. The only new weaknesses, or the elemental weaknesses that we'll need from now on, will be lightning and ice. So all the other claws we can get rid of. Ice will be for the red dragons, and lightning will be for the evil masks. Switch the party composition around here. Now have 3 front row fighters. And Nell's high enough level that she has some survivability now in the front row. We 4 with low defense, low avoid. She was pretty easy to be knocked out, so that's why we kept the boomerang, so she can get full damage from the back row. But now we don't need the boomerang anymore. With the Masamune, Mirasame, and the occasional elemental claw. So, right now we got basically all the main treasure in the game. There's a few more pieces of treasure in the lower levels, and some new enemies, so I'm just going to get those enemies and the remaining treasure chests. Not that any of them are really important, but basically ninja stars, I think elixirs, and the whistle, which is an item that you can use to summon the big chocobo. Here we have that evil mask. They are a machine enemy, so they're weak against lightning. So we're going to take off the mirror same for Nell and put the lightning claw on it, and then she'll do a lot more damage. These guys can basically they put a wall on themselves, and then they reflect the wall back onto you, and then they cast massive spells, white, virus, nuke on themselves to bounce back onto you. And the problem is you can't heal yourself because with white magic, because your wall spell will bounce your healing back onto the evil mask. But you can use the wall spell that the evil mask puts on you to bounce back your own black magic. Like I said, probably the best one to use would be the Lit 3. It'll exploit the elemental weakness, and it has a shorter casting time than, say, Nuke, which might be a little bit stronger, but it'll take longer to cast. Here on the second floor to the lunar core, once again, just behemoths by themselves, red dragons by themselves, and evil masks by themselves. When we get to this third floor here, now they start coming in larger groups, and I'll show off all those groups. So here we have two behemoths. Just take them out just like the regular behemoths. One at a time. Feel free to use the image spell from Nell and the blink spell from Lily. That will keep your character safe. And Lily and Georgie can just defend when Lily's not putting up the blink spell. I want to make sure that Nell has Mirror Sane and the Masamune when fighting these folks, because, like I said, no elemental weakness to exploit for these guys, so make sure you have your strongest attack going on. But, like I said, we just keep this up, and not too much of a problem. Unfortunately, the behemoths don't have a very good drop. Like I said, I think their best drop is the Avenger Sword. And then the other stuff is all like gear that increases your strength. So you have like a strength ring, a helmet that increases your strength, and then the power robe. So, but we're not worried about power too much. Although Nell still does have the strength ring equipped to increase. Remember, you can just swap that strength ring around to your different characters if adding the strength ring will make the strength of a character a new multiple of 8. So the strength ring is just plus 5, so... Once we finish this behemoth off, we will keep going down, and after this floor, we have one more floor to go, and it's a unique floor because it's the only floor where we can find these two enemies. They're the only enemies that appear on this floor. And there's Zemus's Mind and Zemus's Breath. And they're both kind of unique. We'll talk about them when we get to them. More ninja stars to throw. Here's the red D group. As you can see, it only looks like there's one red D, but it actually says 3 there. I guess there's not enough room to fit 3 red dragons on, so they're just basically layered on top of one another. It can be annoying because you don't know which one you're hitting. Sometimes you'll like defeat one really quick, and then the next one, they'll seem to like I didn't do enough damage to defeat it, but your hits are targeting a different one. So I guess you don't really have 100% control over which one you're hitting. So it might be actually better to have, Georgie summon Bahamut rather than use the Ice 3, because Ice 3 will do more damage to one individually, but the Bahamut will hit all the red dragons. So you can see once you defeat one, it just like phases out the resistance. Just the number just decreases. These guys are good to farm, like I said, for the crystal ring. That's their rarest drop. Their second rarest drop is the Dragoon Lance, which does effective damage against dragons. So if you get that for Jarvis, pretty much you're going to be doing 9,999 max damage to any dragon enemy you encounter. So that usually is the ultimate weapon that I have for him. That's the weapon that I'll have in the bonus episode where I show off the max static group. So you can see we're doing a whole bunch of damage to this second red D, but it's splitting the damage between the first and the second. But that just means that this last red D will fall pretty quickly. And we have defeated that group. So this is like I said, a good place to grind for that when you're going for your max levels. But grinding for max levels is a unique process because, and I'll talk about it in the second bonus episode, once you hit level 70, your stat gains are no longer static. They can fall into one of three categories. And there's actually some stat gains that are negative. So you can actually lose stats leveling up. You will never lose hit points and magic points. Those will always go up, but certain stats like your stamina, your strength, your agility, they can actually go down. So there's a guide on Game FAQs that points out the best way to level up your characters. And of course I'll point all that out when we get to the second bonus episode. Which isn't too far off, because we're almost at the end of the game here. We are strong enough to finish the game off if we wanted to. But, whatchamacallit, I'm going to leave here to straighten out my inventory. And then once I straighten out my inventory, I will do a little bit of farming to try to get Georgie to level 60. And that's where Georgie learns her last black magic spell, Meteor, which we're already familiar with because that's the one that Keller used. So yeah, it's interesting. If you really wanted to, like, even though Meteor is like supposed to be like this plot important spell, you can actually have Palom, the Black Wizard of the twins, learn Meteor before Teller learns it from the location in Mount Ordeals, which is really weird. Georgie, he actually tends to get his black magic a little bit faster than Georgie does, but then Georgie, he also tends to have better stats than Georgie, except for in his speed and his will. So he's actually a better pure black magician than Georgie, but Georgie makes up for it with the summons. The summons, like I say, they can bypass a wall, they can hit multiple enemies without having that split damage. So, and some of the remakes, like I said, where you can recruit your old party members. You can have at the end Palom, Sid, Edward, Yang. You can choose, and depending on what you want, Palom or Lydia or Georgie for your black mage. But now we're on this floor, it's the last floor before the final floor, so it's the penultimate floor. And the only enemies here are the Mind and the Breath enemies. Mind is a little more difficult. What Mind does is it charms your characters, and you just have to hope they get hit by the Mind or hit them with one of your own characters to bring them out of the confusion status. Mind is also unique in that physical attacks don't do anything to it. It has such a really high defense. So you're going to have to use magic to defeat the Mind. But it doesn't have too many hit points, so I said about 3 castings of Bahamut should finish it off. It's just, or 2 castings of Bahamut and maybe another other spell to get that last 2 points of damage. But yeah, they have a unique, like the 4 fiends, when they're defeated, they have they kind of phase out of existence. Have the Mind there, and then the other one is Breath. They're basically palette swaps of one another, but Breath is orange, where Mind is purple. The Breath, unlike the Mind, is strong against magic, but weak against physical attacks. So you don't use any magic against this guy, you just want to use your pure physical attacks. Now, This guy, he uses a spell, a blast spell, which does massive damage to all your party, but he takes like forever to use it. For the most part, he just sits around and casts the peep spell on your characters. And so it's almost like one of those timed bosses again, where you basically have to do the 40,000 hit points of damage to him before he uses that blast spell on you. So, we can try to increase our physical damage by having Lily cast the fast spell on one of our characters. Probably the best choice for that would be Roops, because Roops has a crystal sword. Nell would be the next one, and then Jarvis, because Jarvis is jumping a lot to deal double damage. He won't necessarily feel the effects of the fast as well as Nell and Roops would. But yeah, as long as you're doing a lot of damage to him, you should be okay. Summons actually do decent damage, but as you can see, they don't max out damage like they did against the Mind. But yeah, Summon magic is the only magic that could potentially deal some decent damage to these guys. But your pure black magic, like Nuke, any of the elemental spells, they're just going to be totally worthless. So. Heal up when you need to. And eventually the breath will fall. And just like the Mind, it'll dissolve. And with that, we have met every enemy except for those pink flans, the pink puffs. But I will show them off in the next episode. Those pink puffs, they're only found in that one room in the entire game. So I guess they're kind of like these enemies in that they're only in one location. But the pink puffs actually have a decent drop. They actually have they drop Ether 2s, Elixirs, Ninja Stars. The rare drop though is the pink tail, which you can trade to the Adamant Collector back in the Adamant Mine on Earth near Silverton. So unfortunately, once you're in the lunar core here, you can't exit out. So we're just going to have to hike our way out. And once we hike our way out, then we can use the exit spell. And that's what I'm going to do. And then between episodes, what I'll do is I'll do some grinding to get Georgie up to level 60. And I'll return back to Earth to sell a bunch of this equipment and just clear out my inventory. So, but when I do that grinding off screen, I'm mainly going to be grinding on the second floor of the lunar subterrane. Against the Carry, Warlock, and Red Giant enemies. They have the best kind of drops, and they're so close to the surface that if I need healing between fights, I can just warp up 2 floors and go to the healing pots on the first floor of the Crystal Palace. But some of the good drops you can get the Warlocks. They can drop the Ribbon, which is, like I said, an excellent piece of headgear. That would, if we got one of them, would go to Nell. You can also get another Hero Robe from the Carry enemies. You can steal Artemis arrows, which are the best arrows in the game, strong against dragons, from the Carry enemies. And finally, the Carry enemy, the rarest drop, is the Artemis bow, which is the best bow in the game. So you combine that with the Artemis arrows, and you'll have someone like Lily being able to do 9,999 damage to dragons, like the red dragons or the blue dragons. So here we are. Once we get to the lunar subterranean area, we can have Roops or Lily cast the exit spell, warp us out. And like I said, here's what I'll end up doing is going back to Earth, selling a whole bunch of that equipment, stocking up on stuff, and then getting Georgie to level 60 so that she gets her final spell, Meteor. So take care, thanks for following along, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!